بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآل الطيبين الطاهرين. Okay, we continue our discussion about fairness. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is quoted as saying, and you see how much it is connected to our discussion about truthfulness. من ألهم الصدق في كلامه من ألهم الصدق في كلامه. The one who is inspired by Allah to be truthful in his word is a gift. If someone is gifted with truthfulness in a speech, وَالْإِنْصَافِ مِنْ نَفْسِهِ, he is also inspired by Allah, gifted by Allah to be fair. مِنْ نَفْسِهِ, by giving from himself. Because you remember, we said fairness is to distance yourself from yourself and go at least in the middle between you and the other party. You remember that analogy we had? وَبِرَّ وَالِدَيْهِ, and he is kind to his parents. وَوَصَلَ رَحِمَهُ, and he is also connecting to the kinship. He does salay rahim. Okay? So he is truthful, he is fair, he is kind with his parents, and he observes kinship. أُنْسِأَ لَهُ فِي أَجَلِهِ, his deadline will be postponed. Deadline of life, yeah? So his life, because Saliyah Rahim, especially kindness to parents, they cause extension of life. And if, God forbid, you do the opposite, your life will become short. But even truthfulness and fairness are introduced here as two factors for getting extension in your life. Okay? وَوُسَّعَ عَلَيْهِ فِي رِزْقِهِ, and your sustenance will increase. His sustenance will increase. Look at this. وَمُتَّعَ بِعَقْلِهِ. What does it mean, مُتَّعَ بِعَقْلِهِ? You remember when we were talking about Quran, we had a hadith that whoever reads the Quran from Mushaf, مُتَّعَ بِبَصَرِهِ. You remember we had this hadith? مُتَّعَ بِبَصَرِهِ. We said he would be able to benefit from his eyes, from his vision. Sometimes you have eyes which are medically okay, but you cannot see any truth. You cannot benefit from it. Yeah? You are not blind physically, but you are not benefiting from it. مُتَّعَ بِبَصَرِهِ. There are people who have aql. Alhamdulillah, Allah has given all of us aql. Yeah? We are not mad, we are aql. But how many people actually benefit from their aql? Many people have kept their aql brand new. As I told you, I told you the story of brain of Einstein and brain of another person. Someone went to a shop. They said, we sell brains of dead people. So he saw that the brain of Einstein was, for example, $1,000. Then another one was $10,000. So which scientist was this person? He said, no, it was not scientist. It was a person who didn't use his aql. So this is brand new. That is used. So some people, they don't use their aql. It's like you have a very good car, but you don't use it. Okay, so then you walk. You have very good talents, but you don't study. So you are not benefiting from it. مُتَّعَ بِعَقْلِهِ. He will benefit from his aql. Now, think about this. How Inṣāf, fairness, helps you to benefit from your aql. If someone is not fair, his aql is present. Because he doesn't let aql to speak. Imagine, if you have a very good advisor, but you are not fair. Whenever your advisor wants to tell you the truth, you say, shut up. Then your advisor, after some time, loses the courage of speaking. Our aql wants to speak and tell the truth, but we say, shut up. Then we become like a person who doesn't have aql. Yes? وَأَقْلِي مَغْلُوب. We have in Du'a Sabah. So, it's a very beautiful hadith. If you are inspired, if you are gifted by being truthful in your word, if someone is gifted with this, and fair, and do good to your parents, and observe kinship, your deadline will be postponed, your risk will be increased, you will benefit from your aql. And بَلُقِّنَا. Luqina. Do you know talqin? Talqin is what? To dictate. Yes? When someone is put in the grave, we do talqin, means we dictate. We tell him something that he can say. Sometimes you dictate to write, sometimes you dictate to say. Okay? And dictator is someone who tells people that what should they do, what should they believe, what should they say, the dictator. So, لُقِّنَ حُجَّتَهُ وَقْتَ مُصَاءَلَتِهِ. I hope now you understand, because you have studied Sarf and Nahw, you understand. What does it mean? لُقِّنَ حُجَّتَهُ وَقْتَ مُصَاءَلَتِهِ. He would be dictated his argument when he is questioned. In the grave or on the day of judgment. Yes? There is question. This questioning is not easy. But such person will be told the answers for the questions. لُقِّنَ. But don't think this is something which is happening miraculously. This is actually the result of that truthfulness and fairness. Because someone who is fair and truthful, he doesn't do anything in vain. So for everything he has answer. And if this has been your permanent quality, so for you to answer to the question is not difficult. Like a person who has himself been very much questioning his words, his actions, then for you to be answerable is not difficult. حَاسِبُوا قَبْلَ أَن تُحَاسَبُوا. Yes? If you have a very careful bookkeeping, then you have no worry about being asked by people. If, like, for example, a student who has always been regular, studying, taking note, mubahasa, reviewing. Does he have any worry about exam? No. Even more. Not only he doesn't have any worry about exam, he wishes more exam. He says, I wish teacher today asked me question. Because he's very well prepared. Yes? So not only has no worry, he says, I wish there is more question, more exam. Praise that I am asked a question today because I'm very prepared. So there is no worry at all, even there is welcoming. So such people on the day of judgment, they have no problem. So look at the beauty of truthfulness and fairness. Okay? So was it right that we mentioned fairness is very important and related to truthfulness or not? Was it okay?
Yeah.
No doubt? Okay. Another hadith. Hassan Bazzaz, he says, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said to me, Ala ukhbiruka بأشد ما فرض الله على خلقه. Shall I inform you about three things that are the most difficult things that Allah has made obligatory for His people? قلت بلى. Please tell me. قال إنصاف الناس من نفسك. To be fair with people from yourself. Of course, in English, I don't think they use it in this way, but I am translating word by word so that you can understand. Yeah, to be fair for people from yourself means you take from yourself and give to people. Okay. Maybe in English we say to be fair between you and other people, but in Arabic it says min nafsik, means you have to take from yourself, you have to go out of yourself to be able to observe the right of the other party. So one of the most difficult things is Inṣāf. And I can tell you, Inṣāf even is more difficult than militant jihad. We have had tens of thousands of fighters, maybe millions of mujahid. But how many fair people we have in the world? I don't think we will have even few thousand. The people who are 100% fair. It's very, very difficult. This is awliyaullah, to be fair. إنصاف الناس من نفسك ومواساتك أخاك. The second thing is not only to be fair, but also to do muwāsāt with your brother. Muwāsāt means that something which is obviously mine, I want to share. Not only I want to be fair by not taking his right for myself, I want to share what is known to be mine with my brother. Okay? But Muwāsāt is with brother. Fairness is with brother and enemy. Okay? We don't ask you to be doing Muwāsāt with enemy, to share your money with enemy. But Inṣāf has no exception. Even with enemy, you have to do Inṣāf. You remember we had this hadith that أَعْدَلُ النَّاسِ, the most just person, is the one who does Inṣāf with his enemy. Is it clear? إنصاف الناس من نفسك. One. مواصاتك أخاك. to share with your brother. وَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ فِي كُلِّ مَوْطٍ. One of the most difficult thing is to remember Allah in every condition. But Imam Sadiq said, أَمَا إِنِّي لَا أَقُولُ Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. When I say to do zikr in all conditions, I don't mean to say Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. وَإِنْ كَانَ هَذَا مِنْ ذَاكَ. It is true that this is also from zikr. This is a kind of zikr. But to say this zikr is not enough. ولكن ذكر الله عز وجل في كل موطن إذا حجمت على طاعة أو على معصية. What I mean by remembrance is to remember Allah whenever you are faced with obedience, when you want to obey or you want to disobey. To remember Allah means that in every moment that you are tested, you have two options in front of you. Remember Allah and make that choice that would be pleasing to Allah. This is not easy. To say Subhanallah, La ilaha illallah, Salawat all the time is manageable. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's manageable. But what is very, very difficult is for every decision you make, for everything you say, everything you do, to remember Allah and observe His pleasure. So you see the level of Inṣāf. Inṣāf is with these very important things. Inṣāf, Muwāsāt, Dhikrullah. Okay? Yes. It's a very good question. One of the things we have to discuss is how to be fair. Okay? In the beginning, this is our last point. Maybe we can finish by this and inshallah continue discussion next week. In the beginning, fairness is very, very difficult. Because our self-developed nature, I'm not saying this is our fitrah, but unfortunately not our innate nature, but our self-developed nature is not fair. Okay? So we have to put pressure on ourselves to be fair. If you are not careful and exercise pressure, you go after your self-developed nature, which is not fair. Okay? So maybe with lots of care and difficulty, you manage to be fair with this case. But the next case, again, is another struggle. Even sometimes with different classes of people, there's a struggle. For example, I can be fair maybe with my friends, but not with my enemies. Or I can be fair with my children, but not with my in-laws. Yeah? So sometimes we have even selective attitude towards fairness. With some people we find it easier, with some. But this has to develop into the condition that this becomes part of our nature. Your nafs should be trained to be fair. The pain and difficulties of acknowledging the right of other people should stop. And I think this only stops for people who are real servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is ʿUbudiyyah. Because ʿUbudiyyah is this. ʿUbudiyyah is to be in all circumstances serving Allah who is haqq. Ubudiyyah means to be in no situation serving your ego. If you are serving your ego, you cannot be abd lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If someone is abd lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, acknowledging the truth no matter where it comes would not add him except honor. Why we think we lose if we accept the truth? Because we are with shaitan, we are with batil. For us, it's difficult to accept the truth because we are not 100% with the truth. If you are 100% with the truth, you can always appreciate the truth, you can always acknowledge the truth, and you know that this will only add to your honor. Why, for example, if you are, for example, in worldly things, imagine you are, for example, a person who sells gold. One of the things that those who sell gold should know is to distinguish between real gold and fake. Yes? Sometimes there are metals that either are gold coated or they look like gold. You have to be able to distinguish. When you are a specialist in distinguishing gold from fake, would you have difficulty in understanding that this is gold which is in the hand of your enemy? No. Do you have difficulty in understanding that this is fake which is in hand of your child or your brother or your friend? No. Why? Because you have unbiased approach to gold. For you, gold has value no matter where it is. Why haqq for us is not like gold? Why we cannot see haqq wherever it is? And why we see our batil haqq just because it is my hand? You see the problem? We have big problems. Big problems. If Allah's mercy is not on us, we all are really destroyed. Big distance between us, I'm saying about myself, and becoming abd. We are just, doing our own, selfish things, but at least on the surface, we try to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But unless we go through a transformation and become only concerned about haqq, about sidq, we don't have any hope for high levels. Why Allah says that in the Quran, for example, they have maq'adu sidqin inda malik al-muqtadir. What is maq'adu sidq? Think about this. This is a seat of truthfulness. For whom? Who can sit on that seat on the day of judgment? The one who in dunya was a person of sidq. هذا يوم ينفع الصادقين صدقهم. Sidq is the only thing that helps you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah have mercy on us and make us among the people who are the people of sidq, inshallah. If we are people of sidq, we don't have any problem. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah.